Hey, I'm Nick Bombrack, and this is the Record Podcast. Thanks for coming back and listening. If this is your first time, thanks for that too. This is part two of my three-part series. I recorded things terribly, and it is at no fault of the guest. It was completely my own. So we're gonna push on through these next few episodes, but definitely listen to them. There's still good content. It's just not as good audio quality. But today's interview is with my buddy Steve Carey. He is the drummer of the Color Morale, and I've known him fairly long time, since the beginning days of Dr. Manhattan, when he was in a band called the Killer Apathy, which was kind of the beginning stages of the Color Morale. And we've crossed paths many times in between. And it's been really cool to watch the band really grow from its infant stage to what it is today, which is a pretty huge band. And we talk about that. We talk about a bunch of stuff. The career of a full-time drummer, since that's what he is. He doesn't have any other job, so he is drumming all the time now. The issue of parents versus touring, which I think is I think it's a common one, being in a band and convincing your parents to let that happen, or to be cool with it, or to give you time to do it, and basically, balk the whole idea of going to college, or, pursuing a job, a 9-to-5 job. So we get into that. What is all the things that have brought the Color Morale success over the years, being in a band with new members, going from original members and swapping people out, what that transition's like, leaving the Christian metalcore scene. The Color Morale used to be kind of labeled a Christian band, and they left that. So we talk about that whole thing, because that's a pretty big deal to do that, and the flack they got for that. And we get into a lot more stuff too. It's a good interview. Appreciate Steve's time and getting into some cool issues on him and the band. And to rewind, for last week, we had a contest for. My guest was Nick Woods, the singer, songwriter, guitarist, screaming brain of Direct Hit. We're giving away a t-shirt, and we had people just post on Facebook or Twitter about it, and the winner of that is Sean James. He posted on Facebook, so the only trouble with this is if I message him directly, since we're not friends, it'll probably get sent to some weird spam folder. So if you're listening to this, message the Record Podcast on Facebook or some way, somehow, and we will hook this up. Otherwise, I will try to get in touch with you, but check your spam folder, or else it'll never happen. So congrats to Sean James. And aside from that, that's it. No other jib jab this week. Let's just get into the interview with Steve Carey of the Color Morale. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. How's it going, man?
Your image is you flipping the bird to me, so I don't really apprappreciate that as the start of our conversation.
Oh, that picture comes from so many years ago. I have no idea. I haven't used Skype in so long.
Well, my icon's just a dog, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
it's all useless.
That's so funny. Just so you know, where I am sitting right now in my house, sometimes the signal will drop out. So at any point, let me know if I'm starting to kind of, do the kind of thing going on now.
This is a pretty amateur podcast, so we'll just push right through that.
Okay, no worries.
I've had to piece together. I think Ramones and I's actually interviews was one we dropped off a few times, and I had to edit, so it's no problem.
Oh, did you have to call him back?
Yeah, I've had a few that done that, so it's no problem.
Oh, geez. Okay, gotcha.
It. So what are you doing on this fine day?
Nothing too much on a Friday.
Yeah.
No, nothing at all, really. Just got the day off to myself. I don't have anything going on, so it's a perfect day to to talk to you and do my first podcast interview.
Oh, wow.
It's nerve-wracking for me, actually.
It shouldn't be because it's very amateurish, and I'm not a journalist in any form. So it's probably a good way to dip your toe in for when a serious person comes around and actually asks you real questions.
I think because I've listened a couple of years now, and it's awesome. It's put together really, really well, and
thanks, man.
There's, it's cool. No, but it's funny that you say that for other people come around, because I've gotten another like actual like some type of drummer podcast.
Oh, nice.
That hit me up and was like, hey, would you like to do one? I was like, oh shit, like I've never done a podcast with like a longer interview. Like any interviews I've ever done, it's for like, if it's for like a drum company, it's always like it turns into like a 3-minute, 4-minute video on YouTube, and it's just spliced together. It's just like, I play this because point A, point B, and you know. So when the drummer thing hit me up, I was like, oh shit, like I need to practice. I need to practice here, because they're like, they want to like go into like technique and like advice for like all drumming. So I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to do that. At least you can answer like technique questions. I'd be like, well, you see, I hit the drums hard, and sometimes I don't hit the drums hard. Is that good?
Yeah, no kidding. And this podcast is like done like drummer, like bigger drummers in our scene.
Oh, nice.
The one I just listened to was, do you know who Matt Halprin is?
Is that the drummer of Periphery?
He's the drummer for Free, and also did all the band happy stuff.
Okay,
and he still does all that. So they just talked to him, and they were like, "Yeah, we want you on next." And I'm listening to his podcast, and this dude is like, I mean, this guy travels and like talks to drum clinics and stuff like that, like shit that I have never done before. I want to do it, but it's just like so intimidating, and this guy's so well spoken, and I'm like, oh man, I need to brush off the cobwebs. It's been a minute since I've done any type of interview. So
that's what this is for here. Let's brush them off. Let's get you all loosened up so you can handle yourself appropriately for the drum podcast.
I know, right? Cool.
So currently you're at home. You're not on tour. What does being off tour usually consist of for you? Do you pick up a job? Do you just hang out? What do you usually do with your days?
It varies. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, which was back in, I don't know, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when the band just started out, it would be definitely get home, have like a couple days off to unwind, unpack, and then go to another job.
Yeah.
Because back then, you know, if really at any point you're in a band, you're not making the most money in the world, so definitely gotta find other places of income. So back then I would pretty much go to my part-time job, which I was a good old freaky fast Jimmy John's delivery driver. I know, right? It's awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they let me go take as much time as I want off tour. While I was on tour, to go on tour. And so I would do that, and then that was pretty much it. And then as the band grew, we kind of were able to generate a little bit more money.
Yeah.
So I actually finally got to quit Jimmy John's. Like, I think I'm going on 2 years now as a full-time drummer.
Wow.
In a band.
Who would have thought?
A literal starving artist. It's so nowadays it's just I get home from tour or anything, if it's studio or anything band related, and I'm immediately trying to figure out what the next venture is for me drum wise.
Yeah.
Like constantly either thinking about, okay, today I'm going to spend a couple hours practicing loudly or on like a muted kit or just like a practice pad, or I'm hitting up a bunch of friends, and I've just started doing this recently, and just jamming with people and staying active that
Yeah.
way, and just because that's my job now. It's terrifying to think, but it's just what it is I'm a drummer. Like
Yeah.
that's that is my job. I wake up and I think, okay, my life revolves around this now, and I have to just keep up at it. There's no slacking at any point. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna wake up and sit on my ass and play
Yeah.
video games for all day, or just do nothing. It's like you're literally wasting your time. So
Yeah.
so nowadays I go and I try to contact as many friends as possible. Be like, hey man, do you want to like jam or you want to play? And
Yeah.
as of right now, I got like a hip hop thing with a buddy.
Nice.
I'm playing black metal music with another friend.
That's
And
awesome.
I know it's just like the wildest thing, but and then I got like another thing with a guy that's about to start up that he's pretty much like if you were to mix like Eddie Van Halen with like Between the Buried and Me, like real technical
Oh,
like
okay.
metal music.
Yeah.
So it's just all these different styles. I'm trying to just keep up the chops, become a better drummer, but also just network and have fun. And yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
I enjoy being home when I'm not on the road and just staying active. It's a great
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
That's good, man. That's one thing that if of being in a band, and any regrets I have was that I didn't put enough time into my craft. Like any off time, I was trying to like do band business stuff or like try to plan tours and things like that. But I always felt the drumming side kind of fall, and it would I would feel that because I'd either screw up more at shows or I'd feel sloppy. And so I
Right.
think if I had it to go back again, I would focus more on the drumming side and less on the business side. 'Cause I think that
Yeah.
definitely took a hit for it.
Yeah. And yeah, I could totally see that. And it's for our situation, we have a lot of people
Sure.
in our on our team, in
Yeah.
our business team, or in our band, whatever you want to call it, that take over that responsibility. Not just like in the band. There are a couple people in the Color Morale that are more business,
Yeah.
have that mindset. But we have people that work for us that handle that. So it allows us players to actually have time off and not have to stress.
Sure.
But that wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
Like that takes years of being in a band to like get to that point where you have money to pay
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
to stress for you.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go back to a time when none of those things were there and it was just you guys. The good
Oh
old
yeah.
days.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, I can, and I got into it a bit with Ramon too. But I mean, I can go all the way back to just Rockford shows of the Killer Apathy and just hang with you guys and seeing you guys grow as a band and heading towards changing and becoming a new thing altogether and that whole process. And something I always think of, and we talked about it on that one too. But something I always think of is I think it was a conversation I either had with you or Garrett, which was like basically you and your parents kind of having like thrown down the gauntlet, being like, "You got to do this. You got a year to do this thing, and after that, you're getting your ass back to school." Like, and
Yeah.
it's so funny too because like I feel like that's a deal a lot of parents cut with their kids who want to pursue something in the arts or like music like that. It's like, look, here's your deal. Like, if you have any interest in college or whatever, like, you have this much time to do it. Or in my case, it was like my parents being like trying to bribe me with school and being like, we'll pay for everything. We'll like pay you to go to school. Just go to school. And I was like, just not right now. Like, I'll do it at some point. And so I think it's something that happens pretty often. And it's something I really haven't gotten to talk about yet, but I love it. Interests me a lot because it's like I almost wonder if that kind of ultimatum influences you more, like kind of like because if you just had all the time in the world with no one pressuring you, who knows? Like it could
Oh,
happen in a
absolutely.
year, it could happen in 10 years, it could never happen. But like the fact that you're being set, like okay, you have this much time to show me results, and it's like okay, well I got to get my shit together. So it
Absolutely.
almost made it come together more. Like you almost have your parents to thank for it because whether or not they were trying to get you to do that, they almost inadvertently got you to have a successful music career.
Yeah, they put the fire under my ass for
Yeah.
sure. with that. But it didn't like fall under like the time frame that they in their minds wanted to happen, like
sure.
nothing, you can't premeditate, like
No.
predict that this is like during this time period, this is when all of it's going to happen. And they understood that. And like, that's what I was trying to tell them. I was just like, okay, like I understand where you're coming from, and I do want to go to college.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to try to, tinker between back and forth from the band and college, and if it's going to overlap, it's going to overlap. And all the props in the world to my mom and dad for letting me kind of do that overlap.
Yeah.
And I got to do that when time was up with high school. I went to college for a year, but on the weekends they allowed me to come back home, so I could still keep the band going, like, still be a part of it. Every single weekend I was in college, I took a bus back from Chicago, because I went to University of Illinois in Chicago, and I took the Van Gelder coach bus from Chicago all the way to Rockford. Left on Friday, came back on Monday, and I did that every single weekend that I was at that school.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it first started out as me leaving Friday and then coming back Sunday night, so I would be ready for Monday. And then it turned into like, okay, I'll skip Friday and I'll leave Thursday. And then instead of Sunday night, I would get back, I don't know, Monday night.
Yeah.
So eventually it didn't work out the way, and then it kind of showed up in my grades and all that good stuff. But at the same time, the band was showing progress, and we were doing all this great stuff with, like, getting the songs out that we were writing onto proper demos, going to the studio, hiring paying a legit photographer to give us, just all the band 101 you need to kind of get noticed as a startup band. So we saw results with that, but I definitely took a big hit, and I kind of had to lie to my parents. I was just like, no, I'm doing great. No, don't worry. I'm making sure I'm doing all my homework when I'm gone. Like when I'm back here, I'll go play a show. And then, after the show, I'll go home and make sure I finish all my English literature homework or something like that. It's like, no, totally not happening. Totally not happening. So but they allowed it, and that's awesome. They were still super supportive of the band, even though they knew that, like, hey, I need a backup plan. You need to still go to college and make sure that, like, if the band doesn't work out, that you'll be set with a college degree, because that's obviously very important.
Every now and then do your parents still chime in like, so what do you say? What do you get? 5 more years and then you're going to school, or what do you think?
No. Well, at first they were like, eventually you're going to want to go back to school, right? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But as of recently, and as the years have gone on with the Colin Morale, we're about to release record number 5, and so that's what, like 7. We've been playing in the band for like 7 years now.
Yeah.
Like, as time has gone by, they've realized that, like, I could, like, my career is now transformed into, like, not I'm just a musician.
Yeah.
So they're supportive of me, like, just as that. They see me now as a drummer, as a musician, as a performing artist. So they're not even like saying, so you're going to go back to college when all this band stuff is done? No, like, now when I have conversations with my parents, they're like, because they're always looking at the future, like making sure, I'm going to be have my head on straight and I have a good path of goals and where I want to be. And they're like asking me, it's like, what's going to happen after the Colin Morale? Or where do you see yourself in 10 years, 20 years? And they're always looking out for me to be like, oh, maybe you should, I don't know, move to this Nashville, or like LA, or like Las Vegas, like a good, like those types of cities that promote, creativity and art and music or whatever. And they're like, get a job there, or, even with all the drum companies that I personally work with. Even there, they're like, hey, have you asked their art A&R guy if they eventually need a job and are like, you should go work for them. And I'm like, I kind of want to. My favorite thing to do is play drums.
Yeah.
May not be to sell drums or like talk to other musicians, but that's kind of the mindset that my parents are in nowadays, that they're just very supportive, and they've helped me out so much. I will thank them to the end of time.
Well, and you can't really fault them, and I especially can't now these days, having a kid of my own. Like, when I talked to Ramon, we were at the end, we were just like, well, what if our kids came up to us and said we want to join bands? I'd be like,
I know, because it's the beginning years. It's those start out years that are just complete hell.
Yeah.
They're not hell in a bad. It's good. You need that. You need those years to build integrity and to build discipline and just harden your bones. But it is a bitch to go through.
Yeah.
So as a father, you don't want your kids to go through it, but you know, it's the good and the bad.
Yeah. So what? So you just said you guys are coming out with album 5.
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah, that's crazy to me because, like I said, I can just think back to the Rock Box or just shows in Rockford, and so it's a long time coming from then.
The glory days.
Yeah, I even remember when you guys put up a video on YouTube. I think when you guys first signed to Rise, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like this, and like things are cooking now. And then just from there on, just watching you guys grow a big fan base and move along. It's been really cool to watch your guys' history because, like, anytime I've caught you, your fans are just like doubling and doubling in size. So it's I don't know if you imagined that to be the case when you guys started the band. I mean, you've come from bands that played shows to 5 people or less, and we both have. So it's to see the crowds that you guys play to now. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's just a mind warp. It still blows my mind to this day how we were able to, with the Killer Apathy, we were able to build such a strong foundation of not just Rockford, but like the northern Illinois up to like southern Wisconsin. We built that foundation with many years with Killer Apathy, and when we translated it into the Color Morale, we had such a good strong base that it was a great starting point to grow. And from then on, it really hasn't stopped growing, and it's just awesome to see. It's good because when we started the Color Morale, like I'll go back further. Like the Killer Apathy had good meaning to it. I mean, it always did. We're all decent human beings. Like we're not bad people. We're not perfect, but we're always like, humble and very talkative to people. Even back then at those early shows back in Rockford to 5 people, it's like we would talk to all those 5 kids and make sure like thank them so much, and just so supportive of all the support. So when it translated into the Color Morale, it's just like, let's just expand on that. Like let's keep being humble, keep being appreciative, and it was a great transition. And those early years were great. I love them so much.
You got to, like you said, you got to have the tough years, the shows where there's nobody there to. I think those are the moments that really show you like what you're about. Because I mean, you play shows to nobody enough nights in a row, you're like, what am I doing? Like what is this even all for? And you got no money, and you want to try to take your girlfriend out, but you got no money, and it's like I mean, that even in bands that do well, even at a successful level, it's still not easy. Like you still got to come home and pay bills, and like sometimes I wonder if that can be even harder sometimes, because at least in the beginning, when you're living at your parents' house or whatever, like you don't have a lot of overhead, and you're just dumping all your money into the band. There's not every dollar you have is going towards it, and you're not really worrying about how much money did I make this year. Just like, oh, well, all my money was in the band, so it doesn't matter. And then after that, you have to really break down, like, okay, this money's for my insurance, this is for the mortgage or the rent. Like once it gets to that, I almost wonder sometimes if that's just tougher, because it's like, well, I got to get out there because I have to make X amount of dollars, and it's not just like, it is fun to do. And there is still fun in it, but it is a job, and I have to take this seriously. Like you said, I have to wake up today and play the drums. Like this is my job now. So when you hit that point, like there's a whole new set of pressures, and people to answer to. You have a team now. You have a label you're signed to. You have there's people who are looking at you waiting for answers. So it's a whole new set of bullshit you got to deal with. So
yeah, it's
it
growing
never
up.
it never really it never really gets easy. It's just like, all right, here's a bunch of different stuff you got to worry about now.
Yeah, no, it gets harder. It definitely gets harder as you grow up and you get older. Because with age, you get into the territory of like, if you're in a relationship or I got a dog,
Sure.
or you
Yeah.
got kids, or it's just you gotta you gotta make money somehow. And
Yeah.
like how I view myself is I'm basically an entrepreneur. Like as
Yeah.
much as I am a musician, I am my own brand.
Yeah.
I have my own brand, and I need to keep thinking and keep figuring out different creative ways of putting myself out there,
Yeah.
like to make myself valuable. Whether or not I'm in the Color Morale or I'm just Steve Carey, a musician, a creative artist, like I need to keep showing people that like, hey, I have a lot of worth.
Yeah.
I've put in, quite a bit amount of years into doing this that it's again I don't plan on stopping. So
Yeah.
every day it's crazy. The entrepreneurial, I can't even say the dang word. I suck at saying that word. Being that
Yeah.
entrepreneur is just, it's tough, and there's not a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
At first, at least,
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen if someone comes knocking on the door
Sure.
tomorrow, or like for an opportunity with like TCM or just me in general.
Yeah.
There's no rest at all. Just constant. But it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I'd rather be doing this than so many other jobs
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough grind to think about too, and I totally get, because I mean I did it. I went from a band and now I work a normal job, and it's when you go from not knowing every day what's up, or every day you got to wake up and you got to make your work. It's not like I go to this place, I do these things, and I go home. Like if you sit on the couch and play video games, then yeah, that's blown opportunities or money or potential. Like
Yes.
it's a grind. It's you got to get out there and you got to make your worth known to people. So
Yes, exactly.
there really is no rest.
Yeah, no, there isn't. And going back to reminiscing a little bit, for the early days when it comes to this mindset of just doing what it takes to get known and get out there.
Yeah.
We would like sell our, we would like, oh my God, we would do so much. We had to like sell our things to like buy equipment,
Yeah.
buy studio time, pay for photographers. Like we grinded back then just to get out there. Like I remember, it was the Killer Apathy transitioning into the Color Morale, and we were going to be like, okay, so here we are. We're this new band. We got to get band 101 demos that sound really good.
Yeah.
So we were like, we need money. How the heck are we going to? Because you play shows to 5 people at the Rock Box in Rockford, Illinois. You're going to make, I don't know, maybe $100,
Right,
but that's
yeah.
going to pay for gas money. So that's it. So we're like, we need to sell stuff. So we all made a commitment to pay for studio time. We all had to sell like one massive item that like it had to be at least like $500. So I had to sell my damn electric drum kit, which I still to this day regret ever doing. But I don't regret it because that
Right.
that led to everything. So
Yeah.
so we all had to sell stuff, pay for studio time. It's always been a sacrifice since day one.
Yeah.
Always. And that's like where kids, that's where you'll find out who's in it, like
Sure.
for real. Everyone and their brother wants to be in a band, well, at least back then they did.
Right.
And all these kids that say, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. It's like, really? Are you really gonna do it? Are you gonna sell like all of your personal items to pay for studio time? Are you gonna pay $20, no, $40 round way ticket to go back and forth from college every single weekend while you're in college in Chicago. It's like not a lot of people did that back then. And I have all the thanks in the world to give to my parents and my fellow bandmates at that time, those early Killer Apathy into the Color Morale stages, just to thank for because they did too. It's not just me. It wasn't all me. It was just we all did it, and the grind is never ending. So
I remember when we recorded the self-titled album. I didn't even have it as bad as Andrew, but like we would go, since we couldn't afford like normal daytime hours, we'd go and do night recordings, and it was cheaper, so we would go and record all night long and then like drive back. And sometimes Andrew would just drive straight to work the next day, and he was like a painter, so he had to be up all day long, like, at a house. And so there was some days we'd go to the studio at like 7 or 8 at night. We wouldn't get back till like 3, and then do it again, go to work all day, go back the next night, driving from the suburbs of the city. And like, man, I just can't even that is like, just thinking about doing that grind again, just being like, oh God. Like, but you do what you gotta do. You gotta, like, you have only so much money, and you want your music and your art to be heard, so you hustle for it.
Yep.
But yeah, just thinking about that now is like, oh shit, that's crazy. I would not do that now.
I know, especially when you're a little bit old. Everyone's a little bit older now, thinking back on that. But I mean, it's definitely showed with Dr. Manhattan, because you guys were another premier Midwest based band that got out there, you know, that got to the levels of getting signed by a record label and being on tours and getting to travel, everywhere. It just, your story, that what you just explained, and my story, what I just explained, that's like, people that listen to us like need to really understand. It's like, if you really want to do this, like, take our advice here, because we did it. We did it, and that's what you need to do. You can't just get out there by, as much as it's easy these days to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna crap out a demo and put it on YouTube, and it's gonna get a lot of hits, and then some bullcrap record label is gonna be like, oh, there's some hype, and I'm gonna you're gonna get on a record label and do a shitty tour, and no one's gonna know you. It's like, okay, how long is that going to last? That's probably going to last a year, maybe two albums before you realize, oh crap, I have no integrity. I have no, there's no substance to anything that I'm doing. It's like you have to build those qualities as a human and as just a musician in a band with other fellow bandmates through those years of sacrifice. So.
Yeah, you got to really look at anything you do, anything you're passionate about, and you have to say to yourself, okay, am I willing to give up pretty much everything or everything? Like, sell all my shit, like, devote any free time to it, and potentially burn relationships and not see friends for years. Like, you throw away essentially everything. Like, are you? And if you consider all that and go, I still want to do it, then that's what you're meant to do. And you also have to show it. You can think about it, but can you actually do that stuff? Can you actually put in that time and give up all that stuff? There's not a lot about it that's glamorous, aside from you have a great thing that you recorded that you can listen to and you can play a fun show. But like all the stuff outside of that is like, it's your own business. It's a small business. So like any small business, I mean, they say like, it takes sometimes like 3 to 5, 10 years for anything to even start happening. So it's like, you got to treat it that way.
Absolutely. I mean, I always will come across like interviews of some bands that I listen to, regardless if they're rock or they're pop, and I'll listen to them talk about like their upbringings in a band, and they're like, I played music for like 10 years. And lived in my parents' basement for like 10 years. Yeah. And then finally I got the break that I wanted. Yeah. And that makes me go, like, I'm like at year 6 or 7, going on 7 now of this. And I'm like, Oh God, like I'm talking like I think I kind of have it figured out. I was like, no way, like I
Yeah.
don't, but yeah, it just goes to show that you just if you put in the hard work and you're passionate about it and you're humble and you're nice to
Yeah.
people, you're not an asshole.
Yeah.
You'll eventually, and you kind of work your way with networking. You will eventually find a break.
Sure.
I really do believe that. If you're a good person and you constantly practice, you constantly are trying to become a better musician, you eventually get the break that, whatever your standard of what a quote unquote break is as a, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
your own standard, you'll eventually get there,
Yeah. And seeing as you're one of, what is it, just two OG members now that you guys have had so many years and so much history, like what has that been like going through? I mean, being a part of the whole band's history, but also, I mean, different phases of the band have literally had different people in it. So, like, how has that gone for you and Garrett, or like, I guess more so you? I'm talking to you. Like, how is that? How has that all gone for you, or felt, or like, starting these relationships and ending them and continuing on? Like,
right. I've been really grateful, and I'm really happy that through the band's career so far up until this point, I haven't really, this because I'm personally saying from my point of view that
yeah,
I haven't really worked with anyone that's kind of like an asshole.
yeah,
Everyone that's come through the Color Morale they've pretty much been a good person. Um, and it is weird. It is a bummer that because I always look at like the Rolling Stones,
sure,
or something like that. They've been playing together for like 50 years, like
yeah,
the same people, regardless of the people that have like passed,
yeah,
natural causes or whatever, just that happens. But I wish, part of me wishes like it could be the same group, because if you stick with the same people, you'll develop and progress,
right,
together, and that benefits. But then at the same time, you can make it work with all the different band members, and we've made it work.
yeah,
It somehow.
yeah,
We're an example of, Garrett and I are the only original ones, but we've made it work.
yeah.
And everyone that's come in has been awesome.
Does it,
Um,
I guess on a personal level, is there any part of it that feels a little less, like you said, you nothing against the guys who are in the band now, but a little part of you wishes, yeah, it was like the original lineup. Does it feel a little less like it doesn't feel as good because of that, or does it to you it's like, you know what, it's still the same like message and same idea, so that still feels as
yeah,
fulfilling?
it's completely 100% still the same. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not wishing any, like, everyone that has exited the band has been for a good reason.
yeah,
A good reason. And every single person that has been in the band and is currently in the band all have the exact same mindset as the original purpose of why we started the Column Row.
yeah,
Um, so it's really such a, every time we well, not anymore, because we're sticking with we have been sticking with the members that we have. Everyone's 100%, 110%.
yeah,
But yeah, everyone's had the mindset of just humble, passionate, and just want to just a positive influence on people, regardless if that has to do with music or just everyday living.
sure,
Helping people with problems through music. Everyone has been really passionate about it, so it's never like a setback. Anytime we would get new members, it was never a setback.
yeah,
It was always just, okay, this is someone new. It's kind of someone fresh. It's something to look forward to, and be like, okay, let's start a relationship and let's grow from here, and as musicians and as people, because as much as it's about playing music with them and getting along in that aspect, you also have to like live with them.
yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
much. So yeah, no one's no beef there. No one's
yeah.
been like, screw that dude, I can't believe he was in the band, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Do you, seeing as your band, like you said, it's a lot about the band that I think attracts people to it and keeps people listening, is like there's a big positive influence. It's about there's a big deeper meaning and storyline kind of running alongside it. And do you, having been in other bands and toured with other bands that aren't that way,
Yeah.
do you think that that's a big part of, what makes the Color Morale successful? Do you think that it offers something else that other band, like what do you see that serving, and like how do you see that in the whole history of the band? Like when that all started, do you see like it changed kind of a thing?
Yes. Oh yeah. It started out where, well, the band started out as like very religious, very outspoken
Yeah.
religiously for like a Christian background.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because that's where Garrett was at that point in his life.
Yeah.
So we would in the beginning we would like get stuck with like those types of like religious bands, or like we would play tours where it's like all like Christian based bands, like there's a tour called Scream the Prayer.
Yeah.
That was really popular. We would always play Cornerstone, um,
Sure.
music festival, or like festivals around like that around the U.S. So that's like what we were just grouped with that, and then over the years, to finish that, so we were grouped in that aspect of just those views. So nothing ever contradicted, or like nothing ever like challenged us view wise. It was always like happy go lucky.
Sure.
Everyone was just always in kind of like a happy mindset, and no one was really challenged,
Yeah.
I guess. And as the band went on, uh, you know, this would be something to talk to Garrett about,
Sure.
but his views on that subject changed, and just what from life experiences that he could obviously explain, and he has explained before if you look on YouTube or look for interviews.
Yeah.
We kind of like transformed into something more of like not like screw everything, but it's more like that's because that's a negative. It was more of like an optimistic, question everything but be optimistic, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Sure.
It's like we're not out, no one's out to like be negative, but
Yeah.
at the same time you got to find happiness within yourself, first. That's kind of how he thought about it. That's how like our mindsets changed from being in that kind of like religious happy-go-lucky realm that we were in for the first two records. And so then when we transformed into that mindset during the No Hope era, the third record, um, that's when we started touring with bands that were on the negative side.
Yeah.
We would get stuck on like tours with like some crazy just profanity and just negative, just hurt people,
Yeah.
screw people, hurt people.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh Jesus Christ. But it's what it is. And it's funny because most of those bands, like the dudes in those bands are like really nice
Yeah.
most of the time. And they're not confrontational, and they're
Yeah.
not out to like be mean. It's just they have a certain view on topics, and they see it in a different light than we do.
Yeah.
We're all really optimistic, really, you know, I don't know. I don't know how you want to call it. You're just passionate kids,
Yeah.
very optimistic. And these, some of these people are just like, yeah, whatever, like, fuck you kind
Yeah.
of thing. Just like it's just what it is. So it's in the end of the day, we're just like, okay, well, we can all coexist.
Yeah.
And that's how we would stand out. Like people would be going to like metal shows, and you'd have all this like hate mosh and hating going on. And
Yeah.
we would get up there and we're just as heavy as these bands,
Yeah.
but we're like trying to promote kids to be passionate about themselves and just, like, hey, if you're down, or if you're down and out, you're feeling like it, it's like, yo, we're there, right there with you. We have been there, and we're gonna work together, and
Yeah.
through music and through just simple human interaction, and we're gonna find the light in a bad situation, in a dark place.
What's
So with yeah,
What's funny to me is that almost kind of circles back to that same part that you started in, because and granted, I've never, I haven't really been involved in the Christian music scene all that much. I've played a festival once with a buddy as the drummer for one of those, and I kind of walked around and hung out and, was in the environment. But like, it seems like a lot of people reaching out, and like we've had hard times and we want to, save each other through music. So it almost seems like Garrett and you guys pushing that stigma away almost kind of brought you back to it, without, like, you don't have the title of that kind of band, but the message seems very much still aligned with that kind of sentiment.
Absolutely. Love. It all comes down to love, really. And just being kind to your fellow neighbor. It's like simple, really simple things that, that values, or morals.
But so do you think that having that title or being in that genre is kind of comes with a silver lining, or comes, like, if someone were to say, because like I said, like, I still think you guys are about those ideas and messages, but just without the title. So it almost frees you from, like, having to live up to something or be about something.
Like, and that's where the whole question everything kind of comes in.
Yeah.
Of just, just find it on your own way. Find internal happiness on your own.
Sure.
It's just kind of like, that's just our mindset. If that pushes you towards religion, me personally, fantastic. That's amazing. Go that route. If it's something else or it's some other way, okay, that's completely fine. Just do whatever makes you feel comfortable, and in whatever way. And that's we just, in this, once again, this is like a Garrett topic, but he kind of just went through life experiences where that's where he was at, where he needed to find it in his own way.
Well, during that change, did you guys see or feel any backlash from, like, that fan base or that genre? Like,
oh yes,
yeah,
oh yeah, we did. And it all stems from that the record No Hope that we did, the third one. Oh yeah. There, all of a sudden, Garrett sang some curse words.
Yeah.
And all hell broke loose. But I don't blame it. Like, I don't blame it, because we were trying to step out of that.
Yeah.
John, I don't know if you want to call it genre, but like just that title, and we were just moving into an honest. We're being the most honest we could possibly be with our music playing, as well as Garrett's, messages that he was relaying through the lyrics of the record. So it was a big shock at first. It's like, oh my God, Garrett said the word shit.
Yeah.
Like, everything has, like, gone downhill.
Yeah.
And they now worship Satan.
Yeah.
So it's just like, no, like, just read the lyrics and listen to music to go along with the lyrics, and like realize it's just like Garrett went through a horrible experience, horrible experiences during that time. And that's how he felt. He felt like shit. So he wrote it down.
Yeah.
And it was the most honest thing he could possibly do. And it worked. Like, people like read it, listened to it, and were like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm going through. Like, this is the most honest thing that I can relate to. And that's why that record did so much more than the first two combined.
Yeah.
It's because for the first time in the band's history, we were completely honest, and we didn't do anything that was bullshit. Nothing that was fabricated, nothing that was like schemed up by some other person or company. It was just like, it was just like literally us looking at each other. It's just, we need to get this out there. I need to get this off my chest in the most honest form, with nothing, no title, no nothing. It's just, and it was awesome. It was a great experience to go through as a human,
right?
Just not even as a band. Just for me personally, I was just like, I don't even give a crap if people don't like this.
Yeah, because that's like, that's honest. That's what you guys were about and are about. So you kind of get to shed that whole genre title or whatever, that world, and you get to speak honestly without feeling, I mean, you felt backlash, but without feeling like the pressure to adhere to any kind of, guidelines or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that topic too. Like I don't know enough about like specific religious facts and like about the Bible, but I love the idea, the struggle with like God and do I believe in it and do I not? And so like I don't know if I talked to Ramon about it, but I talked a little bit on one of the interviews about that album from As Cities Burn, Come Now Sleep.
Who do you think God is, and what do you think God is? God is everything. On the ground you're standing on, to way out beyond the clouds. He is here 24/7. Can't stop it.
I think God
Can't
is.
change
I think
it.
God's everywhere.
All you can do is live with it.
Honestly.
Accept it.
I think God's in that neon sign.
Don't
I think
accept
God's
it.
up there on the other side. I
Move
think
on.
God's right down the power line.
Is like that whole album, and I'm not very even religious myself, but I am very interested in the topic. So that album, like struggling with all that, like I just love that idea because it's something that I think everyone on some level can relate to, and
Yeah.
I think being a part of the genre, being a Christian metal band, I feel like I don't know enough about it to say like yes, every band, or no, not every band talks about that, but I feel like being able to drop that whole title to the band, you can freely talk about that stuff. Now there's still the internet, so people will be like, I hate this, or why is this happening, but like at least deep down you guys can feel like this is what we honestly feel like, and we don't have to, and I've heard things about like bands in those genres from people who work in that world, like those people don't even believe in this music, but they don't want to feel the backlash, so they just stay with the title of that band, like that kind of music. And like, so, there's phonies in every kind of thing, and that's another world where they exist. So I think it's a big thing to do. It's a big step to take because, just like going from Killer Apathy to Club Morale, you are changing an entire band. So there's potential to lose fans or a fan base, and going from a very devout genre that has like very specific things tied to it and dropping all that, there's potential to lose fans and potentially get a lot of hate for that. So I think you guys probably didn't plan on it. It wasn't like schemed up, but going through all that, those are big risks a lot of bands aren't willing to take. So I think that says a lot about you guys. You built a lot of fans from those first two albums, and you said, you know what, like we don't care if we lose fans, like this is how we feel, and they're either going to be with us or not. So
yeah, and it was just like it was definitely a second wind for the band, because at that time too we were on our last record on our record deal with Rise Records.
Yeah.
So that was like that comes to a point with any band that's coming to an end on a record cycle, is you get into the mindset of like, should we go on? Because you sign another record deal that could be 3 to 5 or even more records.
Right.
That's another 5 years of your life.
Yeah.
And we were getting more and more pigeonholed from the first record into the second record, and we were just kind of like, we were feeling like we're trapped in a little tight box.
Yeah.
And if we were about to do a third record, our last record on that record label, in the same like aspect of, in the same mindset as the first two, it would have eventually just been like, okay, well, there's that.
Yeah.
It's just like 3 records of the same stuff, playing to the same people.
Yeah.
We just didn't see any room to grow.
Yeah.
As musicians, as a band, as humans. So we're like, you know what, all in or nothing, like it in the most purest, honest form. And we did that, and everyone was just like, turned, like everyone 180'd and turned their heads and like, what the hell did the Colorado just do?
Yeah.
And if you were like, okay, they actually have some really good points. They make their music is actually, they're doing something that's actually like, it's just worth hearing. It's worth checking out more than once. It's not just another metalcore album with just this here, that here. It's just like this is some stuff that you could actually listen to, bring it to your friend, and like talk about it and like start a conversation. And in a positive aspect too. It's like, oh, some of the stuff is actually I can relate to, and it makes me feel less alone. It makes me feel like I'm not the only one that's going through this. And so that's what happened. It kind of snowballed effect into like, okay, my buddy is going through this type of stuff. I need to show it to my buddy. And then, it, you know, it just keeps going. And it did. It gave the Color Morale a second wind. And to this day, and probably for the future, the best album for the Color Morale will ever do will probably be No Hope, in the sense of just how much that album helped people for that period, that time period, that album cycle.
They say the things that love you will never stay. Is that really true? I guess me everyone leave before they can hurt you. On who's on this to you? Hurting people.
Not to say like we won't do bigger things, you know.
Right.
Who knows? We'll have our next record, the one after that, will sell 3 times. Just whatever. That's cool and everything. But for that time period in 2013, I think that's when the album came out. Through that whole album cycle, those kids that came out to those shows, that was such a good, genuine time that I will cherish for the rest of my life. It's the best thing in the world just to think back on. So
when you guys were going through that, you know, like you said, the contract with Rise is ending, you're thinking you want to do something different. How did that process go? Did you record an album, bring it to Rise, or did you already decide in your minds, like, nope, like we want to start fresh, do something new? Like,
100% start fresh.
Yeah.
Because like I've said, it was a breath of fresh air. We got a second wind, and nothing against Rise Records. You know, they were the record company that picked us up. Yeah. They were the ones that are like, oh, we're gonna pick you up and we're gonna place you into the music scene, and good luck. It was awesome. They gave us the opportunity to do everything. They were there from the beginning, and they were there to help us. You know, get the opportunities to get on tours, to get a record into album. You know. Record stores and all that stuff. But when it came to that point, it was just like, okay, let's just all together just kind of like start over, you know. With new band members were coming in at that point. We had the new sound. And it just felt like the logical thing to do. Yeah. Was to kind of move on from that, cherish those albums for what they were on Rise. That's great, but it's just, and it was a next chapter for the band that we were all really excited for, and that's when Fearless Records came along, and we're really passionate about what we were doing and wanted to help grow the band and our message. So they had a great mindset, and we've had a great relationship with them ever since.
Nice. And so this new album, is it in the can? Is it done? Are you guys still working on it? What's the status?
The brand new one, the new.
Sure.
That one is done.
Nice.
It's going to be our second. It'll be the second one on Fearless Records.
Yeah.
So that's all done. That was recorded in February and March with a producer named Dan Corniff out in Long Island, New York.
Okay.
And it's done. I can't say when it's going to be released and all that good stuff, just because that I have to wait. So everyone has to agree on everything and all that crap, as much as we're all twiddling our thumbs like people need to hear this. People need to hear it, because we literally think this is by far the best songwriting we've ever done as a band, as a group. I mean, the current members that we have right now have been in the band for 2 or 3 years now. Like everyone, we've gone through a record cycle. The first one that was on, it was Hold On Pain Ends. was on Fearless. So we've had years of growing together, living, and then also writing. So, and that was the problem with previous records. When you have band member changes, that's the setback, is that like you don't get to write as a group. You know, you'll have like one guy that like writes all the guitar riffs, and then, you know, I'll throw in some drums, throw in some guitars, and then the other guys that are new, they're just trying to be a unit. They're just trying to fit in, you know, so they don't have that much contribution. But this time, this record, we actually all got to sit down for months and write songs, and very looking forward. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait.
Well, and I think right now is almost like the worst time because it's done and you just have to wait. Like when we had the self-titled album, that it was done for a year by the time it came out. So by the time people were hearing it, we had already been playing those songs for more than a year. So we were already like sick of it. Like we're like, all right, let's record more. And it's like, no, this is just new. So now we got to go out and actually play these songs a bunch. So like that's a side of that world that people, you know, don't necessarily get. They think when an album comes out, they just were in the studio right before that, and these songs are all brand new, and everyone's excited to play them. Sometimes those bands aren't really excited to play those songs anymore. They had to sit on them. I know. That's
absolutely tough. There's songs that we've had written for a year to like this month, and we've been playing it over and over again.
Yep.
And we're like and I'm personally like so sick of it. Yeah. Like it's like this is like, okay, I've heard the song for like a year now, but you just got to put that aside, because when people actually hear the songs, they're just gonna, you know, hopefully like it, you know, or at least just react to it, and that reaction gives you a second win. They're like, oh yeah, that's why I put all that effort and time into it. It's just because people are you know, experiencing it for the first time, and that makes you kind of get into that mindset as well, like as if you're experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, but you and I both know that people in bands and musicians and artists are all big pussies. We all have, like, we're all so sensitive, and so like, here's our art, here's this thing we created, and then you play it into the dirt, and then all of a sudden people are just starting to hear it for the first time. So you're like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. So it's like you said, that's what you have to do. You have to separate yourself from it, and but that's not always easy sometimes, depending on
absolutely not,
your connection to that art.
I know, it's, you put all this time and effort to something that you think is the best, your best quality product. Like you think, okay, at this point in time, I can't write a better drum part.
Right. Yeah.
So this is my best. So if someone hears it and reacts like, dude, that drum part sucks, or guitar part sucks, whatever, it's like, fuck, like I really
yeah,
I could try it on that. Like, like I practiced a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's okay. You know, it's just what it is. And the more years you do this, the more immune you get.
Yeah.
To that, and that's what happens with me all the time nowadays. It's just like I will read comments, like I will, because I'm genuinely interested.
Yeah.
The negative to positive. I want to see, like, if someone is saying something negative, I want to take it and make sure if it's legit to my standards. I want to be like, okay, if that guy thinks my speed is not where to his liking, it's like, then I'll internally be like, can I get better at my speed?
Yeah.
And more times than none, I'll be like, yeah, I probably could spend, 15 more minutes on the practice pad on doing single strokes or doing all that stuff. But no, this album cycle this album that's going to be coming out, the feeling that we all have right now of excitement is the exact of excitement, but then and at the same time, if you don't like it, I'm not going to be butthurt about it. It's exactly how we felt right before No Hope.
Okay.
No Hope was like, this is the purest form of artistic expression, the best that I could possibly do. And this is another case of, this is another situation where, like, yo, if people aren't going to like this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You don't, then that's fine. You don't like it, but we are so happy about what we're doing here that it's like a third wind. It's like a third chapter of the band that's about to happen right now. It's like, we view it as like the first two records were the first chapter.
Yeah.
then No Hope and Hold On Pain Ends was the second one, and now we're kind of branching into a different realm, different, not so all the basic values and mindsets are still there, but music wise, it's taking it a step further, songwriting wise. So this is like, it's time to, fifth record, it's time to put the big boy pants on and get to the next level, trying to get to the next level, but still keeping your integrity and still keeping just everything that you hold true to yourself that we've done this entire band's career.
So what, I guess now you're in the third wave. This is the third chapter of the band. What do you see for the band that you guys haven't done yet? I mean, I feel like you guys have toured all over. You've gotten to do some pretty cool things. Like what have you guys talked about that side of it? Do you personally have an opinion on like where you want to go in the world or what things you want to do?
I mean, yeah, you always like, and this is just like, really, it doesn't really mean anything. It's like, yeah, oh, cool. We could play like a bigger festival, or we could play like a bigger tour with bigger bands, or that's cool and everything. It's a cool thing to check off the bucket list, but it doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. With this one, it's more like, what can we do to just reach a bigger audience? That's simply it. Still be the Colorado, still mean everything that we've always meant, but to reach out to more people and in a positive way and to help people. That's all it's ever been, was to have a positive, optimistic mindset, and through really bad times, if you're going through bad times, and just help as many people as possible. That's all it was. So it's just that's the goal, is to do different outlets. And this time around is going to be a little bit different. The songs might get played on a radio, on alternative radio and stuff like that, and people will automatically be like, "No, that's some bullshit." Yeah, like they've completely, you say sell out, but they've like conformed, But it's like, no, it's not. You'll open, if you still buy CDs, or if you look it up online, you'll open the booklet up, you'll read the lyrics, and you realize, oh wow, this is still the same Colin Morale that I've always known. It's still, we're all still human beings, fucking up every day, making mistakes, and getting really bummed out about it, and trying to find the light in a situation, be like, okay, I'm going to learn from all this stuff, and I'm going to try to do my best next time around. And that's just how we wrote this record, and so it's going to be a little bit bigger this time around, but it's nothing to us. Like, we're not trying to get on the biggest tours or the biggest festival, in the sense of like, hey, check us out up there in front of, just to check it off the bucket list. It's just like, okay, give us a bigger platform so we can help more people. Yeah. Simple. How can you be mad at that? Yeah.
I feel like the final album you guys should put out as a band should be like, since there's a lot of these albums working towards, trudging through what our problems are, and like everything's gonna be okay. The final album should be like, everyone's okay now, and it's a happy album. It sounds like Jason Mraz or something. Everything worked out, and everyone's happy, and that's that. So
yeah, it's just all ukulele and just all the typical
Glockenspiel,
happy-go-lucky. Yeah, Glockenspiel. Oh my God, I turned into a world-class Glockenspiel player and change my name to a symbol or something like that.
Nothing would make me happier than to see like the final album is just like, you guys are just all happy, and the songs are all so like cheesy commercial, like ukulele songs, and like they're happy now. They're all happy now. They did it.
Someone plays a fiddle. Gary starts yodeling.
Yeah.
That's the Glockenspiel.
The final wave. It's the final. It's the final chapter, and that's it. You can call the album the final chapter.
That's great. I'll pass it along.
Yeah, please. Next serious band meeting, let them know.
Okay.
Well, good, man. That's cool. I'm excited for you guys to push into this next, like you said, this next chapter, and be able to get to bigger and better places. Because I mean, any of the times I've seen you guys, you've I can't imagine the crowd's getting bigger, but there's always room to do that. So it's really cool to see some homies from back in the Rock Box playing to 3 people doing it big now. So
yeah. Well, thanks, man. We're trying the best we possibly can to just get the name. It's not just Rockford, Illinois, like to get Rockford out there, but it's just like to get everyone from our music scene. It's just like that's kind of how we view it. Is like anytime we talk to kids about our past, or just how we started up, we reference Dr. Manhattan, the Felix Copa. Like we tell people, it's just like, yo, we came from an amazing music scene where everyone was genuine. Everyone wanted to help each other. No one was malicious.
Yeah.
At least from our experience.
No.
Well, everyone kind of wanted to just help everyone out and just grow the scene. And, just because the Color Morale is one of the only ones that are still actually doing it in 2016, doesn't mean everyone else's like legacy just ends. Because we're just trying to tell people through interviews, through just regular human interaction, like, yo, you need to check out some bands that influenced us, and try to go back to your music scene and find some buddies and start a band, start a local venue, play a basement, and just create a community.
Yeah,
got an amazing community that we had. We were lucky enough to be a part of a scene, an era that doesn't exist anymore. There's a little, it does. It still exists in our town a little bit, but nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing like where we came from. So we're trying to spread the awareness of Midwest region bands.
Well, it seems like you guys are doing a pretty good job of it by what I'm seeing. So I'm happy for you guys. It's a pretty cool path you guys have set on, and you're still doing it. Not, plenty of bands can have the career that you guys have, but for whatever myriad amount of reasons, they don't continue. And just the fact that you guys are still doing it and still about the message, still about why you write in the first place, it says a lot. So
thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I always like to see the tours you're getting on, seeing all the places in the world you're going to. It's really cool. So.
Oh, that's fucking awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I hope everything goes well with the launch of the new record, if it's next month or in a year from now, whenever it comes out. I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to hear what you guys, what Chapter 3 is all about.
All right, cool. Okay, we got one guy stoked. That's good. Let's get started. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, here I am. Can I have the record now?
Oh, can you have it? I can let you listen to it. Yeah, I can do that. You're a personal friend of mine.
Oh, yeah, but little do you know, I'm going to download it and share it to the world.
Yeah, don't do that. No, you wouldn't do that. No.
Well, good, man. Thanks for taking an hour and a chunk out for me. It's
dude,
glad to hear everything's going well.
Thank you for allowing me, just giving me the opportunity to do this.
Sure.
I appreciate this 110%. So much. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And I hope everything goes well at the next podcast. You're setting on a path of podcast interviews, so I hope it all goes well.
I know it's a new venture for me. I'm nervous, but it's gonna be all right. It's we're talking about things that are that's happening. It's nothing. I'm not like trying to talk about like rocket science,
sure,
or explain why black holes exist or some shit like that.
Although I think we should have another interview where we both try to explain that, and I think that'd be a good time.
That would be great. I actually do listen to a lot of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, there you go. So you can school me then.
Awesome. No, I can't, but I can pretend.
Yeah,
I can.
Sure. That's all that matters. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Good. Thanks for popping on here. Really appreciate your time.
Dude, thanks so much, Nick. This is so much fun to do.
Yeah. Enjoy your off day, man. You got to go. Well, there's no off days, but enjoy your time.
Yeah, right?
Time not on tour.
I will. Warped Tour starts middle of June.
Damn.
Yeah.
Strap in.
Trust me, I'm enjoying as much off time as possible right now.
Yeah, man. Enjoy your time. Enjoy time for you, because you're about to lose it all.
I know.
All for the greater good.
All for the greater good. You're damn right.
All right, buddy. Well, take care of yourself, man.
Thank you. You too. Keep in touch, please.
Yeah.
Like, just regardless of letting me know about how the interview gets edited and everything like that, text me every once in a while. I'll text you every once in a while and make sure everything's going well. How is the little one?
Oh, she's good. She's my mom's watching her right now. She's currently crawling and teething, so it's a whole new adventure of never sitting down or blinking or sleeping. So it's good.
Oh, how old? Like how many months are you?
8 months she is. So
8 months.
yeah.
Oh, geez, that's brand new still.
yeah. We're just getting into it. So whole new set of shit to deal with, but it's all fun, man.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure you're gonna be such a cool father.
I don't know about that. I just hopefully she doesn't grow up to hate me. That's all I'm shooting for. So we'll be all right.
Yeah. Are you gonna lay out? See, this is how I plan to do it for my kids. Is I'm gonna wait till they're a proper age and then put drumsticks down. I'll put like a plastic guitar and like maybe a bass or like some other instrument and just wait and see if like something happens. Are you trying to do that?
Well, my wife plays piano and she knows, and we have a piano, so I think, whenever she decides to get interested in that, she'll start to show her that. And if she starts to get interested in whatever, I mean, there's a few guitars lying around. I'm gonna plan on, like, in the next, we don't have a basement right now, but the next house with the basement, I'll set up drums, so it'll be all there for her if she's into it. So I'll definitely encourage it if she wants to, but I'm not gonna be like Whiplash throwing cymbals at her to make her become the best drummer or anything. So
no, of course not. That's a little too demanding. Yeah, don't do that. But that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And so that's just so awesome that you're into that.
Yeah, man.
Next of your life, and
it's a wild ride, man.
Once I'm running around in a stupid band and all that good stuff.
Hey, man.
That'll be the next chapter.
I just interviewed a buddy who was in a band, Nick, who's the singer of Direct Hit. He has a kid at home. We talked about all that. So people make it happen. They figure it out.
Oh, wow. That's another set of sacrifices that I would have to – you have to just learn on the spot, really.
Yeah. It's any of this stuff. You just learn it as you go.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
All right, homie. Good chatting with you. Go enjoy your day, man.
You too, man. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks,
okay?
man. You too, buddy.
All right.